Hi there, welcome back. This is Janet with Janet and Patches. And today we're going to talk about I am and the power and the authority, the person of I am is nothing less than God. I am. And that I am is going to put your focus on what you are being conscious of. So your mind, what your mind is focused on is that consciousness of who you are. I am. And what are you conscious of yourself, of your being? That your being is that divinity. I am that whatever you are conscious of. So right now, what you are conscious of is creating your future. Right now, what you are conscious of is what you are creating now, your future. It's because before, what you were conscious of, the gossip, the failure, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty, all that negative stuff, you see, what happened? That is what you were conscious of. And that is what manifested in your life. And when you got sick and tired of that, feeling like a victim, that you weren't in charge of anything in your life and then everything was happening to you, instead of on the bridge of decision of waking up to who you are and saying, you know what? I am. And then you decide, yeah, who and what am I? And then you decide, what do I want? Who am I? And as you discover who you am, you discover that you are this fractal of God, that this life that is beating inside of you, this breath you're taking, is nothing less than the Spirit of God. I mean, think about it. If this Spirit of God left the body would just be a corpse, right? I mean, really think about it. What is giving this body life, the life force of this body? It's not like a robot, and even robots need an energy source. So let's put it that way. This body needs that energy source. And what is that energy source? It's spirit. It's spirit. The robots, what is their energy source? It's electricity. So what is yours? Yours is spirit. That is your electricity. That is, and without the spirit being, this body would just lay down, right? So you are a spirit. Let's get that understood. Being a spirit, that means that what? That your body is subservient to the spirit, because your body functions by the spirit. If your body functions by the spirit, all right, then what is the thing that, I don't know, it's like the mind. It's the mind then that kind of controls or decides what the spirit, because it's mind over matter is what I'm trying to say. But this mind has to be reprogrammed. So you don't think back here, this victim, but you start raising up to, who am I? And you are this fractal of God. So whatever you are conscious of, that is what now you're creating your future. So what do you want? What is the desire of your heart? Because if you will sit down, take those deep breaths, and ask yourself, what do I want? Because where do those desires come from? It comes from your Creator God. It comes from God Himself that is in you, that is that spirit that is alive and causing this body to function, that is causing this body to be healed, to be whole. Everything, all those desires were put in there by God, because that is God that is in you. That is that consciousness, that is that divinity, that is that source. And if you try and go through life where it's just the mind ignoring the love of God, that is what has caused so many previous civilizations. Well, the earth has been around for much longer than mankind say that it has, really a long time ago. And there have been some amazing, fantastic civilizations, and they got hold of this manifestation type thing, and then realized that, if I discipline my mind to do this, and you know what happened? They did it without the love, without the forgiveness, without the goodness and mercy, without the grace of their essence, their truest essence. These are basic laws, and I think you would know that by now. If you listen to Neville Goddard, you listen to Florence Shinn, so many of these previous people, that great spiritual greats, they will tell you, the essence of your beingness is God, is love, it's benevolence. Because if you don't have that benevolence, if you're not centered on unconditional love for yourself, then these laws can be appropriated, and it'll self-destruct is what it does. And that's what has happened to many really advanced civilizations that were here, because it was done basic laws. There are basic laws like gravity, which is going to be overcome, but these basic laws, but done without the love, the benevolence, the forgiveness. And you can see that throughout our present history of some of these leaders that grew up, and they understood certain laws, and they put people in prison, they killed them, world wars and all this other stuff. That's not of God. That's not your truest nature. So get on board. I mean, you think they lived a happy life? BS. No. Without benevolence, without that self-worth and that self-respect, there is no happiness, there is no joy. There's only power and control. There's only this ego, this scratch and itch and negativity and self-destruction and destruction of mankind. That's where all that comes from, because it's come from without the love of God. The love of God is when you love yourself, you're loving God. And without this, I love you, I love you, love you, I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm so grateful for the goodness and the mercy, for the wisdom and discernment, for the peace and the love and joy that is going out throughout America. That America is established on benevolence, this thing called freedom. What do you think freedom is? Freedom is benevolence. It is love and respect for the individual to have their own goodwill. God put His goodwill. If we would just start tapping into the God's good will and desire for us, that we are totally, absolutely loved and adored just as we are, and that we are a reflection of that benevolence. And you know what? That frequency and that vibration, it permeates throughout. We're all interconnected because there's only one God, maybe all kinds of different names, one God and one Spirit, and that one God, that one Spirit is in all of us. And that's why it's so important that you get rooted and grounded in love. Because then that, you see, that frequency, that vibration, that goes out, and goes out, it goes out, it goes out. And so it's so important that you take those deep breaths and, just go, I am so loved and adored. I am precious, I am witty, I am intelligent, nothing missing, nothing lacking, because you are going from enslavement, victimization, and you got to change the way you think and perceive this 3D world, and you've got to start living and moving, rewiring this, healing the heart. So it's by the Spirit. It's by the Spirit that we live and move and have our being. And at that, I send my love, my joy, and my peace, that divine health, that supernatural wealth and wisdom and discernment. I just send that out to y'all and to everybody in America, that we have that freedom, that love, and that joy to make those choices that is good for us, the desires that we have for ourselves. It reverberates out, and it goes out, and you know what? It comes back to us, wave upon wave upon wave. So know how much you are loved, that I am the I of the I am. And you have a great and wonderful week, because this is how, everything you've ever wanted is by being here now, so totally loved and accepted, just as you are. Love yourself because you're loving God. And be here now, because now what you are conscious of, now you are creating your future. So I hope that is an encouragement and a help for you, and to know that unconditionally you are loved, just as you are. I love you. So have a good day, and we'll talk again tomorrow.